Tonight on News 5 Live, Prime Minister John Briceño comments on Pharmacy Express's failed loan application. PUP Chairman Henry Charles Usher reels in Belmopan Mayor Sharon Palacio and her councillors. And 11 BDF officers involved in a deadly traffic accident upon returning from a funeral service for one of their own. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Necesitas un proveedor de servicio móvil que te permita estar conectado con una cobertura LTE rápida y confiable en cualquier instante y desde cualquier lugar. ¿Quieres hablar con tu familia? ¿Compartir tus experiencias con alguien especial? ¿Administrar tu pequeña empresa? Para todo lo que necesites te mereces la mejor experiencia móvil. Ahora puedes hacer mucho más con los planes de datos postpago aumentados de Digi. Puedes disfrutar de 8 GB de datos en cualquier instante por tan solo $55 mensuales. O puedes compartir hasta 120 GB con 6 de tus amigos más cercanos. Estos son más datos LTE para que disfrutes durante el día, por las noches y los fines de semana sin restricciones. Disfruta a lo máximo con más datos para llamadas y mensajes ilimitados en todos los planes postpago de Digi. Visita la tienda Digi más cercana para inscribirte hoy. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y un comprobante de domicilio. Únete a la red de mayor velocidad y cobertura en Belice. Para más información visita nuestra página web www.livedigi.com o envíanos un mensaje a través de WhatsApp o Facebook. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Good Vibration presents the Belize Jerkfest 2022 inside the Marianne Jones Stadium featuring Massacre live in concert, DJ Jashi, Jada Kingdom, Sweet Pink Band, Papa John, King Rome, and more. It's going down Saturday, August 20th. Get your tickets at BelizeJerkfest.com. General tickets 100 and 130 at the gate. VIP 150 and 180 at the gate. Get your tickets at BelizeJerkfest.com. Y'all know what it is.
The Miss Belize pageant is back. Find out who will represent us at the most important pageant in the world, Miss Universe. It takes place on Saturday, August 13th at 8:30 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Watch it live right here on Channel 5 or on our Facebook and YouTube pages. It's an event you won't want to miss.
Reusable plastics. Did you know that until we find an alternative for plastic and all its uses, we will continue to need plastics, such as in the health sector? Plastic becomes a huge problem for Belize when it becomes waste and is improperly disposed of. When it is thrown on the side of the road and in our rivers and seas, it's eaten by animals and in turn by people, and it becomes an environmental and health issue. It costs us money for disposal, filling up dumps and landfills, and paying for associated healthcare. So what can you do? Choose to refuse single-use plastics is step 1. Step 2, instead, use the plastics that were meant to be reused, like coffee cups, water bottles, and food containers. We're not talking about buying a $1 bottle of water. I mean, you can, but how long will that last you? Reusable plastics keep plastics out of the environment for a much longer time and are even better than other forms of plastics like biodegradable or even compostable or bio-based plastics. By reusing, you are also saving money since you aren't rebuying the same thing over again. Think about it. How many bottles of water do you buy every week? How much does that cost compared to the cost of a reusable bottle? Imagine what you can do with the extra money. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, August 12th. I am Annalena Polonio. The controversial $7 million loan for the Social Security Board to Pharmacy Express Limited, as reported on Thursday, has been called off. As it came to be, the government of Belize raised the only objection that was submitted in writing to the SSB on the basis that the pharmaceutical company, which operates out of the 4th Street Tourism Village, was doing so illegally since it does not have a license to dispense medicinal drugs. SSB's announcement on Thursday came hard on the heels of a raid that was effected by the Ministry of Health and Wellness the day before. Despite our efforts to get a word with officials from the ministry, we were unable to speak with Chief Executive Officer Dr. Julio Sabito. Nonetheless, we were able to catch up with Prime Minister John Briceño at an event this morning where he shed more light on the situation from government's perspective.
There's a lot of concerns as to why this should be approved or why it should not be approved. But the most important thing was that the Ministry of Health and Wellness realized that, hold on, this company has been operating without a license. So if they're operating without a license, then that by itself could be a reason to disqualify. But I'm told that the company decided then to withdraw its loan application, and so that's where it ended.
Sir, are you concerned though that the raid from the Ministry of Health and Wellness officials on the 4th Street Tourism properties of Pharmacy Express could have legal implications for your government, given that the defense attorneys for that company has suggested that that search was illegal in their opinion?
Well, I was told that when they started, they were asked for a search warrant, and they did get the search warrant. So that in itself should take care of that. But again, I'm not an attorney, so I really can't comment much about that.
The Social Security Board, as an autonomous body, is insulated from government influence. Despite the Chinese wall that prevents outside interference, the Investment Committee is tasked with doing its own due diligence where background information on private or commercial borrowers is concerned. In light of the fact that SSB initially approved a loan facility of $7 million for Pharmacy Express without reasonable steps being taken in order to satisfy a comprehensive appraisal, the question is whether or not proper due diligence was done by SSB prior to approving the substantial line of credit.
There's almost a firewall between the government and Social Security. That was enacted after 2004 to ensure that Social Security has a level of independence. It does not mean that they can act totally independent of the policies of the day of the government. But it certainly means that the decision-making process is made by them. What we have seen yesterday shows, it shows or it gives proof that the system is working, that the Social Security Board, they have an investment committee within Social Security And then from that, it goes on to the Social Security Investment Committee for the board that report to the board. Based on that, it went to the board, and then the board decided that they would approve that loan. And then the next step now is to make it public, to get reaction from the public. You could say to the team, the investment team has to be more thorough in their investigation of every company that applies for monies from Social Security. So my response is to this should be a lesson to everyone, especially in particular the investment committee, but even the board, that they have to make sure that they cross all the T's and dot all the I's before they approve a loan for any company, because at the end of the day, this is the people's money, and we need to do everything possible to protect the people's monies.
2 days after Belmopan Mayor Sharon Palacio went public to announce that Pauline Soberanes Stillate was the new deputy mayor, Chairman of the People's United Party Henry Usher called a press conference at the Belmopan City Hall to essentially nullify the new nomination. Usher also informed that Palacio and the councillors have agreed to set aside an ongoing internal rift and to work together to deliver on their collective mandate. News 5's Marian Ali was present for the afternoon conference. Here is that report.
Can I guarantee that there will not be more infighting? No. Nobody can guarantee that. What I can guarantee is that if it happens, there's a procedure to solve it rather quickly, rather than having to call the media every time something like this happens.
PUP Chairman Henry Charles Usher, who met with the council before speaking to the press, clarified that there needs to be consensus before a new deputy mayor can be named.
In March of this year, Councillor Darren Swayze was elected by the council, by his colleagues, to be the deputy mayor. At that meeting, it was also decided that there would be a rotation so that everyone could have a chance to be deputy mayor of Belmopan. Of course, before the next person could be selected, there had to be a meeting to make that selection. This meeting did not happen in time, and so that press release went out. Really, it was jumping the gun a little bit in terms of who would be the next deputy mayor of Belmopan. But we wanted to be very clear that Councillor Darren Swayze remains the deputy mayor of Belmopan until the next caucus meeting, which is usually scheduled for the last Wednesday of the month. So we should be having a meeting on August 31st, and if that item is on the agenda, then it will be made public who will be the deputy mayor of Belmopan.
Usher declared that Darren Swayze will remain in that position until another caucus meeting is held on the last Wednesday of this month, which is August 31st. Usher also chided the councillors who took to social media to take aim at Mayor Palacio.
On the issue of the social media posts, we want to be very clear that the party does not condone this type of behavior coming out. This negative comments, negative posts being put out there, when really what should be done is that you have a proper meeting inside.
The councillors who criticized the mayor publicly have been missing from council meetings for months, according to Palacio. But today, there was 100% attendance, with 2 of the councillors joining virtually. Guadalupe Chicas, who was one of the councillors who bashed Palacio on Facebook, sat beside her today at the head table. And while there couldn't be any assurances made that all is well internally, there will be an effort to put the people's business first. And the man who remains deputy mayor, Darren Swayze, spoke along the same lines.
I cannot assure you that, the differences will just disappear, but that's part of us being a team. We work together from day one, no matter what. And what I said or post on social media, it's sad, but I don't want to speak about it anymore. It's just the way forward.
While we will never stop having disagreements, we will never agree on every single thing. Today we have found a unity of purpose, as is one of the tenets of the People's United Party, and we'll move forward.
Today was a very good example of the usage of consultative approach, whereby you can see us here today, and there's where opinions clash, definitely, but we come out with a unified approach.
Oscar Mira, who represents the city of Belmopan in the House, explained that while he too had some differences with the council in the past, there is no common ground moving forward.
Whatever was said in the past, I have passed that a long time ago. We continue working. The important thing is that we work towards what we were elected for. And I'm here to serve. I'm here to work shoulder to shoulder with the Belmopan City Council.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
The United Democratic Party is calling for the resignation of Councillor Micah Goodin following his acceptance to UWI's law program. In a release issued on Thursday, the opposition congratulates the former deputy mayor, but minces no words in demanding that he abdicates his post should he decide to pursue a law degree during the remaining 18 months of his term in office. On the other hand, Prime Minister Briceño says, give the young man a chance. On Wednesday, we reported that Goodin has requested a leave of absence from City Hall for an initial period of 6 months, that is, if he is able to muster the support of 4 of his council colleagues to get the approval of the mayor. But he is also asking for his monthly stipend to remain intact, despite requesting that his duties as a councillor be reassigned. That's roughly $54,000 that the city would be paying Goodin while he's away studying. Despite all of this and the recent fiasco that forced him to step down as deputy mayor, PM Briceño says that Micah's life story is a good one.
I think this is a good story. This is a very good story. You all know Micah Goodin's life. Micah Goodin, I think, grew up in Majestic Alley from very, very poor family. From very, very poor family. He had a hard life. He had to fight hard, to struggle to get where he is. I know we don't like to use color, but here is a young black man that worked his way, that crawled his way, has fought his way to get to the top. And now here he gets an opportunity to be able to go to study law. We should encourage him. We should not discourage him. We should be proud of him and not make a story, a negative story about it. And this is sometimes why people get upset with the media when they make everything too dirty, look nasty or negative. Try to be positive sometime. Encourage Micah Goodin. Here he's trying to improve his life and to be an attorney. Why shouldn't he not have that opportunity? Wait. That has happened under the UDP. And you did not say anything. Channel 7 kept his mouth shut. Here he is saying that he is going to go away and he is prepared to continue through Zoom meetings and participating in the work of the council. And then when he comes in for holidays to be able to try to work as best as he possibly can. Give the young man a chance.
According to PM Briceño, the People's United Party is confident that fielding a new candidate, should there be a by-election to fill Goodin's seat, will result in another victory at the polls.
So that should qualify him for a stipend, though, sir?
Well, that's another matter that needs to be discussed by the City Council, not by me. The City Council have their own bylaws and they should discuss that. They could look at what the precedent was before. And if the precedent was that they can get a stipend, then probably he should get the stipend.
What does this say at the political level, though? Because if he is to resign from his seat as a councillor, it would trigger a by-election, which means it comes back to the PUP fielding a candidate.
Well, we are not afraid of a by-election. You've seen what has happened with the elections so far. For the municipal elections, we won everyone except one mayorship in St. Ignacio, Santa Elena, Mayor Trapp, and one seat there. And again, they were by very few votes. With the village councils, we won about 140, almost 150 of the village councils. So we're not afraid of a by-election. But I think that we need to allow the city council. They are autonomous for them to make that decision.
Coming up, the BDF puts together a team to investigate claims of sexual assault.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Many years ago, two old, tired Kentucky pioneers met one cold, bleak February morning. One of them asked, "What's new out here, neighbor?" The other replied, "Nothing, nothing at all, except for a new baby boy down to Tom Lincoln's. Nothing ever happens out here." Little did those two poor, despondent pioneers realize the history that was being made with one of America's greatest presidents being born. In some of our darkest moments of despair and discouragement, have we not also felt that old pioneer's feelings? Nothing ever happens out here. No one probably felt this more than Abraham Lincoln himself in the years to follow. It appeared that he was a man marked for failure. He suffered from melancholia, endured long periods of depression, could barely see out of one eye, had frequent nervous attacks, experienced severe headaches, indigestion, and nausea. And on the day he delivered the famous Gettysburg Address, he was coming down with smallpox. In 1831, he failed in business. In 1832, he was defeated in the legislature. In 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. In 1856, he was defeated for the vice presidency. In 1858, he was defeated for the Senate. But in 1860, he was elected president. If you're going through a dark time in your life and you cannot make rhyme or reason out of it, remember that God's ways are higher than your ways and that our sanity rests in His sovereignty. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Hard out here. Life really hard out here.
All around the world, gas prices are rapidly declining. The President of the United States said it is the fastest decline of fuel prices in over a decade. Yet in Belize, gas prices continue to rise. 60 consecutive gas increases since the Briceño administration has taken office, with no relief in sight. And we have to ask, the Prime Minister owns a few gas stations. That is a conflict of interest, because the only person that is benefiting from these increases in fuel are people like the Prime Minister himself, with no relief for the Belizean people, no solution for the Belizean people, while oil prices continue to rapidly decline all around the world. Only in Belize, the prices continue to go up. This is unacceptable, and we must demand better.
Life hard out here. Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
Amor prohibido murmuran por las calles, porque somos de distintas sociedades.
Este frío noviembre, cuando las hojas caen a morir por siempre. Noviembre sin día, sentir que la lluvia
tan solo con desprecio me has pagado y ahora ves. Si una vez dije que te amaba, hoy me arrepiento. Si una vez
Devi seppellire lassù in montagna.
A veces solo una gota puede vencer la sequía. ¿Y para qué llorar? ¿Para qué?
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday, live, only on 5.
The Belize Defense Force has lost yet another member of its rank and file in less than a month. Tonight, the family of Private Roxanne Hill and her fellow officers at Price Barracks are mourning her untimely demise. The 37-year-old lost her life in a tragic road accident on the George Price Highway in Cotton Tree Village on Thursday. The accident also left 10 other soldiers with varying degrees of injuries. News 5's Paul Lopez has the story.
Yesterday, it was her birthday, and we planned to have a date night, me and she at the brewery, and I was waiting for her here on camp. When I called her around 7, that's when they gave me the bad news.
You called her and who answered?
Sergeant Major Nunes.
Answered? Her phone?
Yeah, her phone. I told me that occurred.
37-year-old Belize Defense Force Corporal Roxanne Hill, the common law wife of Abner Guzman for the past 7 years, died in a tragic accident last night on the George Price Highway. She, along with a passenger bus full of her BDF colleagues, were on their way to Belize City from the funeral of Private Micah Miguel in Hopkins Village. Lieutenant Colonel Jermaine Burns briefed the media this morning on the details of the accident.
Unfortunately, while returning from the funeral of Private Micah, one of our vehicles transporting members of the band and a few others got into a head-on collision with another vehicle just outside of Belmopan, approximately 10 minutes outside of Belmopan. And unfortunately, there was a passing of one of her female soldiers, Lance Corporal Roxanne Goff Hill. She's married Hill. The bus had in a total of 11 passengers, as it was a passenger van. The preliminary inquiry into what happened, while those details are fairly separated right now, I can say that the driver was on his side of the road, and there was another vehicle coming in the opposite direction that attempted to move away from a bus that apparently swerved into the road that appeared to have been in a parking position, and that vehicle swerved onto the lane of the incoming BDF van, and it was hit at high speed.
According to initial information from the doctors who were first on the scene, Lance Corporal Mansfield Danderson, who was driving the bus at the time, did not show any signs of intoxication. Lance Corporal Hill died on impact. This afternoon, Abner Guzman and Hill's sister-in-law, Sharina Banner, shared the burden of having to inform Hill's children about their mother's passing. Guzman shared a biological child with her. He also raised 2 others from Hill's previous relationship.
Well, I just hope me and the fathers were in the best interest of the kids. And I guess they were closer to me than, I spent and raised them most of their childhood. And I think we created that bond, and without them I think it just left me incomplete, because without her mother a piece of me have already gone. And now with them leaving me.
Yesterday when I got the news, up to now the 2 youngest children that were with me, they do not know. We're waiting for their dad to break news to them. when you have someone so special in your life, cherish it, because one day it could be taken from you, and that's what happened to me yesterday. And I look at her kids sleeping this morning, and it really messed me up because they don't know anything. And like I said today, the kids are with me from Monday, so today they were coming to pick them up. So we already had a trip planned to go to Spanish Lookout today with the kids. And the gas was in the vehicle. I would not ever imagine that I would have had to use that to go to Cayo and Belmopan today.
The Belize Defense Force is cooperating with the Belize Police Department in an ongoing investigation into the accident. The BDF is also planning Hill's funeral. The female soldiers at the Price Barracks are having a hard time accepting Hill's untimely demise, especially since her life came to an abrupt end on the same day they buried Private Micah Miguel. Hill and Miguel were close friends.
When she learned that Micah passed away, I was the one that she called, and we were on the phone for all through late the night. We were messaging one another, and I tried to keep her from not beating herself up too much because she said, Sherry said, I spoke to her this morning, he said, I didn't pick up on anything, and I told her, I said, Rox, I said, you can't keep beating yourself like that. When you have someone so special in your life, cherish it, because one day it could be taken from you, and that's what happened to me yesterday.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Of the 10 surviving soldiers, 3 have been treated and released from the Western Regional Hospital. 5 of them remain hospitalized with varying degrees of injuries. 2 others, namely Privates Darren Flowers and Corey Martels, were rushed to the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital with more serious injuries to the spine and femur. Lieutenant Colonel Burns tells us more.
The death of Private Goff was on site. The remainder of the passengers sustained injuries ranging from multiple lacerations, body aches, and a few breaks and tears. No? The entire passenger list was taken to hospital, that's the Western Regional in Belmopan, where 5 currently remain. 2 has been moved to Carl Hushner for more serious injuries, and those are a suspected spinal injury for one soldier, and the other is a suspected break to the femur. And not until the MRIs and scans are done, the medical bit, will we be able to confirm that those would be remedied by surgery. But from what I got from the doctor just before coming here, is that those 2 persons are already at the KHMH, and they are undergoing a second set of scans, and the specialist there would be able to give us an update. We have one of our duty doctors down there, and she has been up with them since last evening. We also have a liaison in Belmopan that is looking to the welfare of those soldiers that remain there, the 5. From what I've been told, some will be released into our care, our hospital facility here, and we are arranging our ambulances to pick them up and bring them here so they can recover at our hospital.
Counselors from the Government of Belize Employee Assistance Program were at the Price Barracks today meeting with the female platoon and the leadership staff in the wake of the death of 2 of their fellow soldiers. Since the passing of Private Micah Miguel, the leadership has sought to improve their wellness services.
In respect to the bettering of our wellness facility, we've made some significant strides in only the past few days as well to try and multiply the efforts we have with the care we give to our soldiers in that area, mental health. We have, since yesterday, solicited the assistance, or last night since the incident, the assistance of the employee assistance program from the government to send a few of its members here to counsel, you'd imagine, the entire female entourage, because they were all in numbers at the funeral to represent, and they're very, very shaken up. I mean, we have the football cup that was to be played this afternoon by members of the female platoon, and they've all, while very resilient, we've opted to withdraw them from the game because they're all shaken up, and they'll be seeing that counselor this afternoon, and a couple of our leadership staff as well, and we'll try to understand where we need to go after this, while respecting that the job must go on.
Reporters also asked the Chief of Staff for an update into allegations that Private Micah Miguel was bullied and sexually assaulted at Price Barracks before taking her own life. Viewers will recall a Ministry of National Security investigation into the alleged reports of extortion, maltreatment, sexual assault, and sexual advances at Training Company, which concluded in June 2020. Micah Miguel was a member of Training Company that was the subject of the investigation. But nothing came out of the investigation to indicate that Private Miguel was a victim of any of the alleged crimes. Following her death, another investigation has been launched into claims of her being sexually assaulted and bullied while on the compound.
The team has been formulated already in respect to an internal investigation. The Honorable Dolores Baldaramas reached out to our ministry as well. They're providing 2 members from their ministry in respect to neutrality. They'll be attached to the investigation in order for the investigation to be completely transparent. We're also soliciting the aid of the police department to assist us with this. And once that team is together, sometime next week, that investigation kicks off. The BDF has picked their team already, and we are already doing what we need to do as preparation for this investigation. That is where we are with it. We had made the agreement with the family that we would initiate everything after the funeral, because we didn't want to be back and forthing with them too much, and we wanted that when we got information tangible enough to discipline anyone, if that needs to be the case, we wouldn't have them guess gaming, and it would be something solid from us to say this was what we think, this is what we know took place, and for that reason we're recommending this and that. As to those details, I am not privileged to disclose them. There's a lot of rumors around in respect to the case with Private Micah. There's a lot on social media. It's unfortunate that as soon as someone says something or alludes to something, that everybody else just pulls along the same line. We want to remember Micah for the good soldier she was.
Lieutenant Colonel Dermot Burns confirmed that Private Miguel was seeking the BDF counselor at the time of her passing. While he has reportedly requested details from her counselor pertaining to those sessions, the counselor has cited issues of confidentiality. Details of those sessions, however, will be released to investigators in hopes that the information can direct the ongoing investigation to persons of interest.
She was a part of that recruit training. She was a part of some of those allegations. And so beyond that, and post her death, I inquired about whether the force knew about something or so, some case that occurred with her. And from what I've gathered is that, and I'm only saying this preliminarily, not to go against what the investigators are saying or starting to say or starting to look at, that in fact she was seeing the counselor and the counseling unit and members of the wellness unit of the BDF So she was in the program. For what exact reasons, I was told the investigators will know the full details of it, and I hope that as soon as the investigation is completed, this is disclosed to me and we can share it with the media. But it has not been disclosed to me, and so I don't want to make any kind of speculation or so. For all the pressing I've been doing to the force counselor to try and give me more information, she cites confidentiality. And so I told her that she'll have to eventually give up the information to the investigators. If it is that, in fact, Micah was assaulted in whatever way, shape, or form, those persons or person that are implicated from within the force would definitely be disciplined. And when I say disciplined, it would look at something in the lines of discharge, and then a criminal case would be brought against them. And we'll target whatever name comes up, we'll start targeting these culprits, because they're staining the organization, they're rotting the core of what we stand for.
After the break, Plus TV Louis Wade apologizes for an incendiary remark on live television.
Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a national MSME directory. Sign up for this 3-day event filled with intensive boot camps, presentations, MSME support and formalization clinics, pop-up shops, and more to help you develop and promote your business. The National MSME Roadshow will be in Corozal starting August 24th, Orange Walk August 31st, Belize City September 7th, Punta Gorda September 14th, Key Cocker September 22nd, Belmopan September 28th, San Ignacio and San Helena on October 5th, Dangriga October 12th, Placencia October 19th, and closes in San Pedro from October 26th. Learn more and sign up for the National MSME Roadshow by visiting the Beltrade Facebook page or call or WhatsApp us at 613-5139. And let's get your business on the road.
I'm on my way to Benny's, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Benny's. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Ma, you really can't get a mannequin for this, ma? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
The Miss Belize pageant is back. Find out who will represent us at the most important pageant in the world, Miss Universe. It takes place on Saturday, August 13th at 8:30 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Watch it live right here on Channel 5 or on our Facebook and YouTube pages. It's an event you won't want to miss.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package includes 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Pastor Louis Wade Jr., host of Plus TV's Rise and Shine morning show, has offered an apology to the Women Parliamentarian Caucus, which demanded an apology from him for using an obscene word on one of his morning shows that connotes weakness of the female gender. Wade had made a statement to the effect that the building of a nation is not for the weak, but for giants. He went on to use objectionable language to describe who he classified as weak. The comment prompted Speaker of the House, Valerie Woods, acting as interim chair of the Women Parliamentarian Caucus, to write to the chairperson of the Belize Broadcasting Authority, Evan Tench. The letter drew the BBA's attention to what it considered was a clear violation of women. But while Wade had indicated that he had already apologized, the caucus felt that what he had initially offered was not an apology, but instead justification for the use of the word. Now, on his Rise and Shine morning show of August 11th, Wade offered a proper apology.
We seek peace and we seek to apologize to those who found offense with my comments so that we can get work done. Much needed work that needs to be done. And so, given that the statement that I made on Plus TV on July 26, 2022 was not intended as a reference to agenda, nor to be understood as a derogatory or disrespectful meaning to genitalia of a woman. I apologized on July 28, 2022 for the unfortunate interpretation, which was not intended nor premeditated and is truly regrettable. Again, I offer another apology to all those persons whom have been offended by this interpretation. I offer my sincere apology and retraction.
And the BBA has responded to Wade's apology. In a letter bearing the same date, Chairman of the BBA, Evan Tench, wrote to Speaker Woods thanking her for bringing the authorities' attention to the questionable language that Wade used. Tench wrote in part, quote, "We have since engaged Mr. Wade after listening to the remarks uttered on his morning show. He has assured the BBA board that in no way he made those comments with the intent to be demeaning and to inflict any harm whatsoever. His word choice was cause for public concern. As a consequence, Mr. Wade has retracted said comments and has given a formal apology on air," unquote. House Speaker Woods, on behalf of the caucus, has posted on her Facebook page accepting the apology from Wade. Her post read in part, quote, "A step in the right direction, a significant public one for gender sensitization and gender equality, an example of multi-party collaboration, the collective work of House members Dolores Balderramos Garcia, Tracy Panton, Elvia Vega Samos, Senators Beverly Williams, Erica Jang, Elena Smith, Janelle Chanona, Isabel Bennett, and the presiding officers. Thank you, Belize Broadcasting Authority and the Plus TV team for addressing it. There will always be those who don't get it, who don't agree that this should have been taken on, or don't consider the importance and impact of language. The hope is to increase the numbers who do," unquote. Public objection to the naming of Moises Cal as government's choice to chair the Public Service Commission has ended with Cal withdrawing himself from consideration. The rejection surrounded allegations made against the former ambassador in 2007 that he attempted to launder a large amount of money while traveling through Panama on his diplomatic passport. Today, the media got a chance to ask Minister of the Public Service, Henry Charles Usher, to weigh in on the recent nomination of Cal for the post. Usher said that Cal had the wherewithal for the job.
Important is that Mr. Cal has a good grasp of management, of administration, and being the chairman of the Public Services Commission includes that. I think it's important to understand you don't really need a lot of experience in public service. You do need to be familiar with the public service regulations. It's someone that the Prime Minister felt had the capacity to get the job done. He followed the rules and the law. He consulted with the leader of the opposition, and well, Mr. Cal has now removed his name.
Now that he has declined the offer, Prime Minister John Briceño will have to put forward another recommendation and will need to also consult with the leader of the opposition on that recommendation. Another topic that has attracted a lot of attention is the nomination of former Belmopan Mayor Anthony Chanona to serve as chairman of the People's Constitutional Commission. Today, Minister Usher said while there's been candid statements made over the selection of persons and groups to contribute on the commission, there have not been any kind of backlash. And Chanona, who is his father-in-law, was not his pick, but the Prime Minister's.
Well, you have to remember, I didn't choose the chair of the commission. That was done by the Prime Minister. We actually passed legislation this time around. In '99, there was no legislation supporting the Political Reform Commission. This time around, we passed legislation, and two very important points in that legislation is that the commission is independent. They will act independently of the executive and the legislative arm of this country. We made it very clear that you can't be a sitting representative, you can't be a member of parliament and be on this commission. The chairman of the commission is being appointed by the Prime Minister after he consults with the leader of the opposition, and they will also have immunity. And why we wanted that is because we want them to be able to speak freely. We want them to be able to make recommendations without worrying about any legal backlash. So that's why we put that in the legislation as well. So as to the appointment of Mr. Chanona, he can defend himself.
When we return, 21 students are recipients of the I Am Belize Scholarship 2022. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of inches you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Go back to school and beyond when you upgrade your smartphone or tablet to a Samsung. The affordable line of high-tech devices are the perfect back-to-school tool that you can fit in the palm of your hands. Whether you're shopping for a starter phone or a high-end device, the Galaxy A series has an option to fit your needs. The awesome lineup includes the A03, A12, A13, A22, A23, A33, and Tab A7 LTE and A7 Lite. So unlock these offers and get your 1-year warranty only when you shop at authorized Samsung resellers countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Divari, Odette's Home Center, and Westtrack from July 4th to July 31st.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Garantizamos contener a los pacientes que allí estamos manejando y disminuir riesgos de infecciones para el resto del hospital.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
KTV. Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
Amor prohibido murmuran por las calles, porque somos de distintas sociedades.
Este frío noviembre cuando las hojas caen a morir por siempre. Noviembre sin día, sentir que la lluvia.
Y tan solo con desprecio me has pagado y ahora ves. Si una vez dije que te amaba, hoy me arrepiento. Si una vez
debiste ese peligre, la swing montaña.
A veces solo una gota debe vencer la sequía. ¿Y para qué llorar? ¿Para qué?
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday, live, only on 5.
The new Social Security Board headquarters in Belmopan is a building that was recently completed, but there are already issues with its design and it will cost SSB a pretty penny to have it repaired. According to Prime Minister John Briceño, he has been made aware of the issue regarding the edifice on Bliss Parade.
We have been, briefed about it, and it was a bad design. It was badly, the architect supposedly seems to made a number of or overlook a number of things that should have been in the design. We could have made it political, but we did not. We decided that no, we have a problem. We have the people's money. We just can't walk away from it, and the Social Security is going to spend the extra money to be able to repair it, because we have to fix it.
Belize Rural North Area Representative Marconi Leal Sr. compromised his reputation when his name was attached to a customs vehicle appraisal form for an SUV that is the subject of a theft investigation. Leal has told another media house that he was simply putting in a word for a friend to receive a discount on duty for the late model Volkswagen Atlas. The vehicle in question, however, was legitimately purchased by businessman and tour operator Yoni Rosado. Here's how PM Briceño responded to the question.
I think as representatives we get all sorts of requests, and by him asking for a consideration, he does not have the authority. He does not have the authority to instruct the Customs Department to do any such thing. For him to ask for some kind of assistance, that's what representatives do every single day. Now it was left now for the Customs Department to decide whether they wanted to do that or not.
The annual I Am Belize Scholarship Program has seen many students receive the financial assistance necessary for them to complete high school. Over the years, students from across the country, primarily in Belize City, have benefited from the initiative. This morning, a new cohort of students was recognized as they prepare to enter another chapter of their academic life in September. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
21 students who will be moving on to secondary school at the start of the new school year were awarded with academic scholarships this morning. At a brief ceremony held at the Hub, Restore Belize and the Office of the Prime Minister acknowledged and encouraged them in their pursuits. These kids are faced with socioeconomic challenges and are trying their best to rise above society's setbacks. Christine Smith is the Executive Director at Restore Belize.
There's an application process. They fill out the application. Then based on that, we do home visits, because since it's a holistic program, we need to understand the dynamics of the young people who are applying. So we do home visit to understand the conditions of the home and the support system that is there, because any child who wants to go to high school can access opportunities, but if no support exists at home, then the probability of them succeeding lessens.
Prime Minister John Briceño, whose office works closely with Restore Belize, was on hand for the recognition ceremony. The program is a continuation of an initiative that was launched under the Barrow administration. Realizing the need for such an effort, PM Briceño and his government are in full support of this program.
Here we have 21 young Belizean kids that come from communities at risk or even at families at risk. And Restore Belize is trying to offer an opportunity to them. It is a program that was started under the previous administration, and it just proof that when we see something that is good, that needs to be continued, and we should continue and to make it even bigger. What we're doing now, we're giving even more counseling, assistance where it's needed, trying to get even more corporate sponsors to be able to get involved.
According to Smith, Restore Belize via the I Am Belize Scholarship Program helps students to achieve their academic goals so that they can move on to become productive citizens.
The I Am Belize Scholarship Program looks at your vision. What is it that you as an individual want to achieve? And how is it that we at Restore Belize, through the Office of the Prime Minister, can assist you in achieving that goal?
In supporting and expanding the program, PM Briceño says that it also fulfills the part of the Plan Belize manifesto that deals with making quality education accessible to all.
We need to see what is working and then build on that. It does not mean that we move away from our strategy, from our manifesto, and our manifesto in Plan Belize was to make education available to everyone, especially the ones that are at-risk kids. And so this is in line with our manifesto. And we continue to proudly support this program, and we now need to work in making it even bigger and trying to get even more kids to be able to participate.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
The Anglican Diocese is celebrating this weekend and is calling out all its faithful to come out and participate in worship and fellowship. Diocesan Day is commemorated annually on August 10th, but this year things are being done a bit differently. This morning we caught up with Josephine Flowers, a member of the Fellowship Commission of the Anglican Diocese.
We are celebrating our Diocesan Day, which was actually on the 10th of August. However, we are having our service on Sunday. Our team is building up and encouraging one another. So, after we finish through COVID, that is what we need to do. We need to build up and encourage each other to continue with doing the work of the church. So each area, the churches were going to have different activities. I can start off by saying St. Mary's and St. Francis, we are having church service. And of course, they know that we know how to entertain. So it might be food, it might be, we don't know what is going on, but we'll have something definitely. And then I can say this, the Western churches, the one in Belmopan, they are going to do parish profiles. So they are going to talk about their parish, and it's educating our congregation and encouraging them to come out back. So there is something out there for everybody. Then the Hispanic churches, they are having games after service. So it's like entertaining, encouraging, entertaining. That's what we are going to do. Then the most activity is going to be from the church in Dangriga, Christ the King. They are doing Bible competition, field games, and of course they start off with this parade. And I tell everybody, it's a pity all of us can't have the music that they'll be having, because we'll feel the vibes and get the action going.
Just ahead, catching up with disability advocate Jerome Flores.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Lionel Messi! What an incredible
and Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
You may remember him from making headlines in the news as the paralyzed man taking part in Awareness Rise. He also set his sights on the Paralympics in 2016, but that did not materialize. Jerome Flores is no stranger to advocacy for the disabled after falling from a 40-foot high pole. Sabrina Daly sat down with him this week to chat about what life has been like since his tragic accident.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
He's an advocate for persons with disabilities, a familiar face for championing awareness rides across the country with a hand-pedaling trike. To be resolute is personified through Jerome Flores, but his story as a paraplegic began when he was 21.
They pushed a big needle in my foot and they told my parents that I won't ever walk again. And my mom started crying.
How old were you?
21, just starting life. Just got into my house, just got married, just got a new vehicle. So everything was just starting. And
Jerome fell from a 40-foot high post. Life as he knew it would be changed forever. Where he once embraced being active and driving trucks, the consequence of his accident now has him confined to a wheelchair.
After a while, I got a little bit down. I wouldn't say depressed, but down because I used to be active. You know, I had a normal life, do everything for myself. Now I need help in certain areas. I need assistance. You know, so it got to me a little, and thankfully my uncle, Doyle Gillette, he had offered to let me go in the office and just do a little paperwork to fill out the way bills them for the guys them that get sent from him. And that was really wonderful. That really helped me, you know.
But if you're familiar with the story of Jerome Flores, paralysis was the catalyst to a man recognizing that his limits are only what he makes them to be. He rode alongside abled riders with a hand-pedaling trike he built on his own, his way of advocating for the disabled community. It's been a decade since Flores concluded his last awareness ride. We stopped in to see what life has been like for the man without limits.
Again, because of my family, I think that had a big role, and it's a very important role, and a lot of people seems to forget about it or miss it. If I didn't have my family, I think then I would be more frustrated, because then I won't be getting things that will help me to get my mind distracted from it. Because not being able to walk, you know how many people I approach me or I know them and I talk to them and they would say, man, Jerome, if I was in your situation, and it's always the one answer, I think I would have done kill myself. I said, but why would you not think that? I am a proof that, all right, if something bad happen and your life change, there is a way that you could still move forward. The thing is, the way I grew up, my father always wanted, and my mom, they always want me to do my best in whatever I do. And I think I just transfer that into what I do with the furniture work. And if it doesn't look beautiful, if it's not perfect, I don't want to give it to no one, you know. And I think that shows in my work, you know, and that's why people come to me, because they see not just to feel sorry for me or help me because I'm in this situation, but they see the quality of work that I provide. They love what they see, you know, so they come to me.
Jerome is an example of adaptability and perseverance. As an incapacitated man that builds furniture, he even helped in laying the foundation of his own home. And the quality of his work reflects the man and the mindset. According to him, there is nothing you cannot do.
So I just want to encourage those who are in my situation, those who are not in my situation. Don't let people control or guide you or tell you you can't. Anything is possible. Like I say, once it's something good in society, if you want to own a car, you work towards that. If you want to own a house, you work towards that. If you want to have your own business, it's not impossible. If I could do it, anyone could do it.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Uno Fuels powered with Dynamax. Uno, a brand committed with the future.
Jerome hopes to establish his business further that he is one day able to employ other disabled persons. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.